Hey guys, welcome back. Talking about that West Ham game away for Arsenal. Again, a disappointing draw 2-2. You weren't there, obviously, you weren't doing so hot that day. So I still, the more I'm sitting down and thinking about it, I feel like that's actually a very good result for us given the overall nature of that game. But again, it puts pressure on every result going forward. Speaking of which, the West Ham game. Luckily for us, I think David Moyes is not under quite as much pressure anymore, sitting in 14th plus a game in hand. So they should be safer. So he shouldn't be feeling quite that stress
Iffy,
to
yes,
perform. But at the same time, I feel like this is going to be a match where they're going to do, like, David Moyes is going to go back to basics. Same thing he's done the last few games: sit back, defend, try to hit us on the counter. And that's where I think we will again have to work to break down a very rigid and generally a much better organized defensive West
totally.
Ham. What's your take on this game?
The the first within we had to score within the first 30 minutes. The first goal will change the dynamics of the game. West Ham otherwise will be happy to just sit back and take a point because all they need is 1 point out of this fixture at the most. They'll be happy if they get three, but they really need one. That's what they're looking at because of a game in hand and being a fair bit above relegation. A
Mhm.
fair bit, not so much, but still. So I think they might just set up a very defensive low block and try to play on the counter. West Ham, surprisingly or not so surprisingly, cannot score goals. Even their previous win was due to an own goal. So they know that for a fact. I am not certain how they might think of scoring against Arsenal, especially when your forward lineup isn't really in hot form. But any game could be a banana peel at this stage. It's eight more games, but let's focus on the next game, and that is West Ham. We have to go all guns blazing, get a result, hopefully get a clean sheet this time, please.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the biggest worry against West Ham is like we just don't want them to score first because that is absolutely essentially shut up shop territory for them. Because like you said, they're already probably going to look at this game as a draw. If they go a goal up, then then it's going to be that much harder to break them down. Most important again is to keep control of the game. Uh, I don't mind making this a 1-0 victory just because, like you mentioned, they're not particularly threatening on the attack. Their best option is probably going to be set pieces or counters,
Correct.
and both of which can be tackled as long as we keep possession of the ball, like as long as we don't push super hard. My biggest worry is Arteta at the back of his mind is going to be thinking about that goal difference right now. He's going to be thinking about the game against Manchester City, assuming that it's going to go all level into that final game and going to want to try and pad that goal difference. In all honesty, we don't have the easier run in towards the end of the season. So any game where we can add
Certainly
more
not.
goals is going to be vital. But like you said, at the same token, it also presents itself to be a banana peel for us, and our defense desperately needs a clean sheet. It's been hard, watching those goals again. That Liverpool game, I was not happy with the defensive approach that we took towards the end of that game. I understood why we took it because we were clearly being put under a lot of pressure. But that kind of almost fed into that Liverpool team and gave them even more confidence to push forward. I don't want to see quite the same approach against West Ham. But by the same token, I feel West Ham is a much different opponent. We should be able to control the game better and desperately need a clean sheet on this one, man.
Every single game just gives me heavy breathing right now.
Now we don't have big squad updates at this point. I think Saliba is still very much in doubt for this game. I think at this point in time we are really trying to see if he can be fit for that Manchester City game because that is going to be the biggest
That's the game of the
game of
season
the
right
season
now.
now. We keep saying that all the time. The first City game was initially the game of the season. Now the Liverpool game was the game of the season. Now the next Manchester City game is going to be the game of the season. Not to mention if everything goes level into the final game, then that will be the game of the season.
Ah,
uh, but yeah, I mean problems all around, right? Because Manchester City cruised past Bayern Munich, so this takes even more pressure off of them going into back-to-back congested fixtures against Southampton and Leicester, I believe. Both teams struggling at the bottom. Both teams surprisingly probably going to get relegated, while we still, like we said, have some of the tougher ones going in there. Just a weird note to end on for this one. Which fixture do you think, of course, outside of the City game, is going to be our toughest fixture going into this final run? Now, just to revise, we have West Ham, we have Southampton, Manchester City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. Nottingham and Wolves. Which one are you worried about the most outside, of
It's a
course, that City
toss-up
game?
between Newcastle, Chelsea, Brighton. These three games, it could be either of them spring a surprise because Chelsea is a London derby. Newcastle, they are on red hot form. Brighton, because they have been a banana peel to us for the last few seasons. So I don't know. It's a toss up between these three games, but I cannot put a finger to which game. Maybe Newcastle, maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on there as well. The Newcastle game will probably be another of those big sort of season defining games, especially going away to St. James's Park is going to be the big one for us. Again, assuming we coast past the other games to begin with, right? Like you said, coming back to it one game at a time. Let us go to West Ham. Let us get those 3 points back home. Let us get the season back up on track and go for it from there on out. As always, guys, please like, share, subscribe. We will see you guys next time. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, support us. Thank you so much. Bye.